Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to all of you. How are you all doing today? Let me know. Give me a number one if I'm coming in loud and clear. We have so internet today, so let me know how I'm coming in. Not that I can do too much about it. Let's see. All right, who do we have in the house this morning? Hello, Lori. How are you? Good to see you. Hello, Jan. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Savage Lee is here. Randy Brown, Kid Nurse. Grandma Preaches, how are you? Copernicus, how you doing? Jeanette, Camouflage, Chameleon, Pilgrim Prepper, Janice, Dustin, 312 Chick, the cute one, how are you doing? From Chile, Connecticut. You know what? It is warm today. Let's see. Here, I'll show you all. The outside temperature right now is 24 degrees Fahrenheit. We are having a heat wave. How you doing, Eric T? Good to see you, my friend. Never Done Prepping, Vanessa, Colleen, Lynn, Kitten Nurse, B. Walker's in the house. How you doing, B. Walker? Jones AFK. JT's in the house. Hello, JT. Ed Case, Mason 662, all the way from Mississippi. Good to see you. Two Spoons Home Places here. Fran Moyer. Tip Top Girl, Saffron Base Sufficiency. Grateful 67. I'm getting number one, so that is awesome. Thank you for that. How you doing, Forrest? Good to see you. Shall not be infringed. Laura, how are you? Oh, by the way, shall not be infringed. I just received your name reminded me of this email that I received from one of our community members that I believe it's in Oregon where they passed that tyrannical 2A law. I don't understand how these states, no matter what state you're in, can pass a law that is unlawful, according to the Constitution. But it seems that the sheriffs in that state are refusing to enforce that law, which is great. It comes down to our law enforcement, our military, and I believe that it also comes down to our state governors, state governments, to decide whether or not you stay free, at least in that state. And, having said that also, ladies and gentlemen, I know that this is a lot easier said than done. But if you live in a tyrannical state, get out of there. Make a plan. I'm not saying get out of there tomorrow, but have a plan. Make a plan. Even if it's a 4 or 5 year plan, make a plan so that you can get out of that state, because I don't see it changing in the near future. I just see it getting worse and worse because they're getting away with all of these crimes, with passing all of these bills and laws that are not lawful, right? You have to understand that there is a difference between legal and lawful. Only because the government makes something legal doesn't mean that it's lawful. And a good example that I can share with you is asset forfeiture, right? So asset forfeiture means that if you're driving down the road and you just came from the bank and you felt like withdrawing $5,000 from the bank, let's say, and you get pulled over and that law enforcement officer sees that money, let's say you put the envelope on your dash and you allow them to see it because you're somewhat ignorant of the law, right? If they see that money, they can confiscate that money, even though you have not committed a crime, even though there's no due process. They can take that money without having to charge you with any crime or even suspecting you of a crime. All they have to do is say, we believe that this cash was used illicitly, right? In some kind of an illegal way. Which, when you think about it, if you're holding cash, what's the possibility of that cash was actually used for something that's not legal, right? Let's not even say lawful. The possibility is that is very possible, right? So they can actually forfeit that from you, and then it's up to you to prove to the courts that you obtained that money lawfully. But the problem with that is that a lot of local law enforcement offices, what they'll do is once they see that you're going to fight to get your money back, they turn it into the feds. And then in turning it into the feds, you usually end up having to spend a lot more money trying to get your money back, your property back, than what you actually got taken for. So there is a difference between legal and lawful. That is an unlawful law that was made legal by someone signing a piece of paper. So anyways, how you doing, Prepping Survival? Betty Randall, how you doing? Laura, S.J. Mullen is in the house. There's Yarn Prepper. How you doing, Yarn Prepper? Good to see you. Don't you know, I'm not sure. I wasn't calling you a troll the other day, don't you know? And if I did, then I was wrong. I was talking about that other person, which it seems that other person is just someone that's very whatchamacallit, that wants to get specific answers to questions, and they kept putting questions down like that. But no, I wasn't calling you a troll. And it seems that other person also, they left me a message saying, I'm not a troll. I really appreciate what you do. It's just I have these questions. So no, don't you know? I wasn't calling you a troll. Don't you know that? John Baxter, how you doing? Rhonda, Grandma Peaches, how you doing? The Old English Prepper, never done prepping. Ma too is in the house. How you doing, Ma? Good to see you. Let's see, who is this? Oh, and ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, today we're going to be giving away our advent calendars. This is what they look like. And I'm not going to open them up so that you can see, because I don't want to, like ruin it for whoever's going to get one. But I'm giving away 4 of these today. So if you like tea, if you are a tea fanatic, there's supposedly 24 different types of very high quality teas in here. All right, so I'm going to be giving away 4 of these today. And the reason is because my wife was trying to support our local tea shop, because she's a tea connoisseur, and she bought a whole bunch of these. So I'm going to end up giving away 4. And depending on how many of them she gets rid of, I might give away a couple of more, because I'm not sure why she bought so many, but she might have a few more tagged for someone else. The cute one, Linda Bob, how you doing? Happy Sunday. Hey, how you doing, Buzz? Good to see you. Bill Free Farms, how you doing? Granny Fisher, Nina, Granny's Back to Basics. Lynn Jacobs, how you doing? Good to see you. Oops is here from Tennessee. Karma is in the house. Well, Karma's actually in here today. Can you see her? There she is right there. Let me see. There she is right there taking a nap. Evil Girl, how you doing? Add Sunshine, Penny, White Hammer, Michelle Rucker, how are you? Melissa, Annette King, Terry, Andy, Be Charming, Muskoka Oma, all the way from Ontario, Canada. Good to see you. Welcome. The Cajun Homestead is here. Randy Brown, Deborah Ramirez is in the house. Crazy Prepper Linda Fetto, Hound of Goshen, how are you doing? From South Carolina. Blooming Wildwood Homestead, how are you? Regina B, Eileen, K. Paul, Disney Up is here. Terry Moore, Samuel Brandt. Shall not be infringed. I already said that. You got a 2 for 1 today. Shall not be infringed. TJ, Big Boy. How you doing? I like that. Big Boy. Kelly. Let's see. Cindy B. Baby Rude, how you doing? Preston Brady, how are you? Linda says it's 34 degrees in Pennsylvania, and that is cold for me. Well, it's, what was it, 24? It's 25 now. It's showing 25. That is like really a heat wave here. I think it's a heat wave, and it's really not good. All right. Whenever we've had our first good snow, which we had, I think we had a day where we had close to 6 inches or so. Whenever we have our first good snow here, me personally, I would like to say we, but me personally, I'd rather get cold than stay cold, like 0 or below 0. It makes it a lot safer to drive on the roads. How you doing, Colleen? Scott Hummer, how are you? Cajones AFK, KJNZ, D's Crafts. Ben Tyler is here. Gen X Prepper, how you doing? Well, let's see. Hey, Thomas, how you doing, Thomas? Good to see you. Douglas, New is here. How you doing? Amazing Grandma. Amazing Grandma says we are seeing snow for the first time in years. That global warming is going to get us. PJ, how you doing? Marisa, I'm just a man. How are you? Me too. Anita Johnson, how are you doing? Andy Prepper, Winona, Homesick Gypsy Prepper. Let me see. Michaela Curley, how are you doing? Sunset Gazing, Ozark Horse Lady, Nicole, Man, I'm just going to call you Jesse. Hello. Good in the woods. Jeanne, how are you doing, Jeanne? Artiste, Cha-Cha, Susan. I love calling out the names because I hear sometimes names that I've never heard before. Karen Mills, E Wonderment from Belgium. Welcome. Mad Max, how you doing? Julie Ann, Erica Bear, Linda Hamilton from Oklahoma. Bonnie Bethel is in the house. How you doing, Bonnie? Mina, Richard Moore. Let's see, who else do we have in the house here? I actually have a couple of things to talk to you about today, and that's why I included the words "don't be fooled" in the title, because what I see going on in the markets, ladies and gentlemen, I think that they're trying to get the retail investors in, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Let's go ahead and bring it down some. How you doing, Tiger? Tiger 69. German Prepper, how you doing? Good to see you. Dave Simmons. Donna Green, hello. Fatima Enriquez, how are you doing? F. Pierre, John Baxter, how are you? Joyfully Orange, Carrie's Cursing. Sandy, how are you? Let's see. Oh, well, here we go. For anyone who's a veteran, here, Mad Max says that military appreciation date tomorrow at the Golden Corral. Free meal to any veteran at any Golden Corral. Well, if there's a Golden Corral around you, go take advantage of that if you like. Let's see. Let's bring it down some. Scott Hummer, how you doing? Gracious 48 is in the house. How you doing? Thea Hom, how are you doing? Many blessings to you as well. Thank you for that. Oh, we've got a question already. Hold your questions until I get done with my spiel. And I also have a little bit of mail call. Let me see. Can you store dry beans in old plastic juice bottles that have been cleaned and thoroughly dry with oxygen absorbers? I do. So I would say yes. I was actually looking in my pantry yesterday for some older things. And that video is going to have to come out maybe later on today or tomorrow, because let me tell you, I'm working on a video where I'm picking some really old things that are way past their best by date that I got in my pantry. And I've kept them pretty much on purpose. There was one thing that I got on there that kind of like kept itself in the back and that I didn't rotate forward, and I should have. But I got it. And I think there's like 10 or 12 items that I'm showing you all that are like way, way past. I'm not talking about a month or two. I'm talking about years and years and years. And I was making a meal with some of those. So I made breakfast, lunch, and then after lunch, I was like, wow, I'm not going to have dinner, because the breakfast and lunch was just enough for the whole day. So I'm going to try to finish that video up tonight for dinner, and then put it out for you all tomorrow. But reason I'm doing that video is because so many people are afraid of opening a can that's a few days past their best by date. And it just goes to prove that you should keep what you have, but most importantly, rotate what you have. That way you don't have to run into having something that's too old. But I'll be putting that video up more than likely tomorrow, because I'm going to probably finish it tonight for dinner. Let's see. But yes, Lori, I've been putting beans away. That's how I started putting stuff away for long term when I first started prepping, because when I first started prepping, I had to do it on the cheap. I just really couldn't afford to do the other things that I've shown you in the past. It's been a progression from doing it on the cheap to doing more expensive things, because, now I can afford it. That's what happens when you become debt free. You can afford to do things that you couldn't before, but you have to take those steps in the beginning in order to be able to afford to pay off your bills and stuff. So, and it works just as good, in my opinion, with one exception, is that if you put something in a Mylar bag, then you're not going to have any light go through it. But if you put something in a clear plastic bottle, like a 2-liter bottle from a soda container or a juice container, then you have to make sure that you keep it in a dark place. And of course, all of those other things, away from rodents, away from too much heat, and of course, dark place, no sunlight. Sunset Gazing, how you doing? Let's see. Yeah, we have a few years. We have a few years of pretty hard times, and after that, we'll just have to see, what happens. Yes, absolutely. I always do that too. That is a great recommendation. Something that I should have said a long time ago, because it makes a lot of sense. Whenever you withdraw, cash from a bank, keep your bank slip and keep it with your cash. That way, if something like that does happen to you, that you can say, "Hey, look, I got it, just a few minutes ago." And also, let's say, for example, you go to the coin shop and you pick up a few ounces of silver or an ounce of gold, whatever it may be. Make sure you keep your slip with you as well and save that slip. Margarita Castaneda, how are you? I'm always in trouble, Margarita, one way or another. Clint Eastwood is in the house. How you doing, Clint Eastwood? Good to see you. Prepping Troll, Butch Grays is here. Rick Sumner, how are you doing? All right, I'm bringing it down some. I want to show you all something that you need to be on the lookout for. Let me see. No, cute one. The cute one, no. Politics really kind of like disgusts me. It really does. And I understand. If you want to be the change, you have to be that change first. And I just don't think I can put my family through something like that. I really don't. Let's bring it on down. Don't you know says I always behave. Well, I don't know. I don't catch all the comments, don't you know? All right, but I'm going to take your word for it, okay? You know what, by the way? Yes, I have. Crazy Prepper Linda. I talked to Greyman, I want to say like 3 days ago. We talked for like whenever we talk, we just talk and we keep talking. We talked for like an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. But yeah, he's doing fine. He's just very busy right now, moving. You all know that he's moving residences. He just purchased a house not too long ago. So he's moving right now. He's getting everything set up. He wants to get his studio set up, get the internet set up and everything. So he is doing fine. Him and his family are doing well. He's just very busy right now. So just give him a little bit of time. If you want to support him, go to his channel and watch some of his older videos, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you can support someone who's on YouTube that you appreciate. If they take some time off for whatever reason, like for example, when I went to jail for that 7 days, you all kept coming back. Well, a good portion of you all kept coming back and you kept watching old videos and letting ads run through and stuff like that. That supports, your YouTuber, whoever it is that you want to support. And go ahead and do that for Greyman, because right now he's just, moving from one place to another. And any of you that has ever moved, that is a big task. It's just, I hate moving. I really do. So yeah, go support him by watching a couple of his videos every day. Just give him a few minutes of your time. And if you don't have the time, just go to his video, click on a couple of videos, and then just let him play through. It's not going to hurt anything, and it's really going to help him out. Well, Linda says, Rudy, do you know why you can't get rid of the couch in the bunker? Where would Karma and Dog lay when they needed their comfy couch? They can lay on the floor, okay? I'll get them a pillow or something. We actually have a home for that couch, but we'll probably wait till the snow melts before we get rid of it. I'm not going to be moving stuff around in the snow. I hate doing that. Well, I'm not sure. I was just watching pinball this morning. I don't know if he's going to make it 200,000 by Christmas. It would be nice if our mods can put up pinball preparedness, put up his channel's site, go over there and support pinball. I mean, pinball has a lot of information. And one thing that I like about pinball and his channel is something that I don't like about how I do, like whenever I report on something. I cannot retain a lot of, so when I talk to you all, when I talk to you all about things that happened months ago and years ago, I have a really good memory from things that have happened in the past, right? And things that I learned a while back. But my short-term memory is really, really bad. And Pinball, the way that he reports whatever issue he's talking about, it's all from memory. So to me, it seems that he like reads an article or does some research and he can retain that stuff really well. And I really like that about him. Unlike, when I do it, the reason that you see me like read off of an article or something that I'm sharing with you all is because my short-term memory is completely terrible. It's terrible. So go check out Pinball. And if you like his content, support him by subscribing. And hopefully we will see that 100,000 on there. Now, 100,000 subscribers is a big deal because it's like one of those milestones that YouTube uses to promote your channel to more people. So it's a big milestone. It's a big deal. It's just like your 1,000, your 10,000, and then every 10,000 after that, it seems that YouTube likes to promote your channel a little bit more. And I do believe, this is just my opinion, but I think that Pinball's channel is being suppressed in one way or another by the powers that be because of the things he talks about. But go check his channel out. Yeah, Pinball's a really good guy. Okay, I'm going to bring it down. Hold your questions just for a few minutes, okay? Oh, you know what? Keisha Wagner says there's still going to be a diesel shortage. I've been hearing there won't be a wide shortage. You know what? I forgot to check on that. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to check on that here probably later on today because they were supposed to come out with the new numbers yesterday on the 12th of November. So I'll go check the new numbers and see if our days in supply have gone up or down from the last one. All right, I'll go check that out. So, yeah, well, there definitely is a shortage. I mean, all you have to do is take a look at the price. The higher the price is, the less there is, or the higher the demand, the less there is, right? So there is somewhat of a shortage, and historically, there is a shortage in the diesel that we hold in reserves. So there is a shortage. However, will we be able to continue to output on a daily basis what we need as far as the refineries go? Will we be able to continue to output what we use so that we don't have to dip into that reserve any more than what we already have? Right? So just get prepared, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing, John Gray? Good to see you. Yeah, just get prepared. If you know that if the probability or possibility of anything being in short supply in the future, near future, just get prepared if you use that in quantity. All right, I'm bringing it down so that we can talk a little bit about why you cannot be fooled. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot be fooled when you see these things happen. And I'm not a professional investor. I'm not a financial investor or anything like that, but I want to share something with you. So you all know that here this last week, the market has just done like a vertical. Now, it still hasn't hit the point where I think that it's going to continue to go up, where I think that it's going to turn into like a bull market. Absolutely not. What's happening right now in the market, in my opinion, is a bear market rally. So if you go back all the way back to the Great Depression and you take a look at how the market fell in the Great Depression, it took about 3 years for the market to hit the bottom. So people kept getting in during bear market rallies and then it would go down. They kept getting in and then it would go down until it finally hit bottom. I think it was around 1932 or something like that, 32, 33. And by that time, the market had lost about 95% of its value. And then it took about 25 years before the market rebounded back to the levels that it was at before it started going down, when it was at its highs. So people pretty much lost a generation. And even after it rebounded back to the levels that it was at before it started dropping in 1929, between that 25-year time frame, the dollar had lost about 54% of its purchasing power. So if you want to think about it that way, it didn't even really rebound for 25 years. It was a lot more than that, because the value of the dollar, the purchasing power, was less than half of what it was when the market was at its high. All right. So I think that's what's happening now. And I just want to share something with you right here. And this is why I think that the market's been going up, and why I think that it will continue to go up for the next month and a half or so until the new year. Let me share this with you. If you can't see this, it says Goldman Desk, year-end rally driven by $5 billion in CTA buying. And CTA is like an acronym for, like, you know, hedge funds, people that buy stocks for investors and things like that. So there's going to be a $5 billion trading day buying by CTAs, right? But the big one is this, and $10 billion in buybacks every day. So what a buyback is when a company uses whatever liquidity it has to buy back its own stock. And when a company buys back its own stock, it creates an artificial, what do you call it? An artificial lowering of their stock, you know, the number of stocks that they have. So it's an artificial way to make your stock go up in price. So we're looking at $5 billion and then $10 billion a day, every day till the end of the year, that they're going to be doing in stock buybacks and CTA buying. So that's going to bring the market up. But I do believe that once that stops, just like it's always happened, it's just going to continue to plummet. And it may not be in 1 day or 2 days, but it may take years before the market finally reaches the bottom. And by then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a lot of pain in between that time. There's going to be a lot of layoffs, and you're already seeing those layoffs happening. You're going to seeing a lot of people losing their jobs. You're seeing a lot of companies asking their employees if they will take a voluntary furlough. You're going to see a lot of people losing their homes. You're going to see a lot of mortgage brokers losing their jobs, because who is going to take out a mortgage right now for $500,000 at 8% interest or 7.5% interest? You see, so you're going to see a lot of the car or automotive sector industry is going to go down. I believe that here in the future, if you're going to want to purchase a vehicle, if you're in the market to purchase a vehicle, me personally, I would wait another 6 months to a year, and you're probably going to end up getting that vehicle on sale a lot cheaper than what they are selling for now. So don't be fooled by how the market is going up. I've stated this before, and I'll state it again. There are professional traders out there. Like one of my favorite professional traders that I follow on an everyday basis, his name is Johnny Bravo. He goes out there, he studies the technical analysis, and he decides what to buy and sell and when, and he makes a profit most of the time. And when you're dealing with a market, as long as you make a profit most of the time, then you're winning. So a person like that, like Johnny Bravo, he'll go out there and he'll make a lot of money trading, swing trading, right? Not pretty much day trading, but swing trading to the most part. So yeah, there's people out there that can make money, but for the average retail investor, you're going to lose everything. And another big deal about that is that all of these hedge funds that are putting money into the market, that money, ladies and gentlemen, represents a majority of the pensions in the United States. A majority of the pensions in the United States are in the stock market. So when it finally falls, those people that have pensions that don't have a choice where their pensions are invested in, they're going to lose it also. It's not just people that voluntarily put their money into the retail market, but people with pensions as well. So let's see. YT, hey, thank you, YTU, and welcome. Yes, grow something. I ended up with about 40 pounds of potatoes this year, which is good. Not too bad. But next year, I'm hoping to do better than that. But yeah, grow something, even if it's indoors. There's something else that I want to show you as well. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is, oh my goodness. I shouldn't be laughing because it's not a laughing matter. But let's see if I can bring this up real quick. All right, so do you all know, let me go ahead and get rid of this real quick. Let me do the pre talking point about this. I'm not sure if you all heard, this has been all over the news. It's been all over YouTube. And it's this FTX cryptocurrency platform that went bankrupt here this last week. I mean, they went to zero, right? So this just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about about that the founder and the CEO of FTX, he was a huge donor to political parties. But the main thing I want to talk to you about is this. We've been talking about all of the money that the United States government has been giving Ukraine. And so that they can do whatever it is that they're doing over there, right? And guess what they've been doing with that money? Guess what they've been doing with the money that we are sending them, right? Because it is we, the American people, that will eventually have to pay for that and are paying for that, right? Guess what they've been doing with that money? Well, as I've already told you, FTX went bankrupt. They went to zero. It was a big Ponzi scheme that was being orchestrated by around 10 people, I believe it is. And the money that was being sent to the big U, I won't say their name again, guess what they did with that money? They invested it in FTX. They invested billions and billions and billions. I read somewhere that it was around $50 billion. They invested in FTX, and FTX has now gone bankrupt. They have almost nothing compared to what they would have to provide, in order to make everyone whole. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I remember reading, I've read so many articles on them, so it's kind of mixed up. But I remember reading that they were on the whole for about $125 billion. And of that $125 billion, the government may be able to get around 600 million. So less than 1% of the money that they're in the hole for can they provide back to the investors. So we pretty much just fund it by sending the big U all those billions of dollars and they investing it in this crypto scam. We pretty much funded this crypto scam, and now all that money is gone. And who's on the hook for it? You and I are, ladies and gentlemen, the American people, the American taxpayer. So that's what happens when governments spend your money without you telling them that you can spend your money. It's taxation without representation. And it's been happening a very long time. So, and another thing, like I said, this is not funny, but another thing that was really heavily invested in FTX was hedge funds with what? With pension funds. Was hedge funds that had pension funds money that were investing in that. All of that money is gone. It's gone. And you know why it's gone? You know why this FTX thing failed? Because they were running a Ponzi scheme. They were telling people that they had 1-for-1 of what they had in there. So if somebody bought a specific crypto from their what is it that you call it? Exchange. If somebody bought a specific crypto from their exchange, they were telling them, yes, we have this crypto that you bought here that you paid this money for. Well, what happened is that they didn't. They were pretty much telling people that they had 1-for-1 when really they had maybe 125 to 1. All right. So they had one crypto for about every 125 that bought that same crypto. And guess what institutions in the United States run the exact same way? The banks. When you put money in the bank, they tell you that, yes, we have your money, but they don't. So FTX went bankrupt because it was found out to be a Ponzi scheme because they didn't have the money or the cryptos that they said they had that people bought. They spent the money, did whatever it is with the money. Now they're bankrupt, and everyone that had money in there, that put money in that institution, they're down and out. They'll be lucky if they get a very small percentage of the money they had vested in that exchange, probably over the next 5-10 years, whenever it takes, whatever time it takes for them to figure out where all that money went. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the thing is that banks in the United States operate, in my opinion, all right, I have to say that because there's the internet. In my opinion, they operate using the same business model as FTX did. They tell you that, yep, they have your money here, when in reality, they have a very small fraction of your money. And if you didn't see that video that I did on the FDIC, no, the FDIC does not have your back, not one bit. Let's see, Susan. Oh, thank you very much, Susan. Thank you for that. How you doing, Prepper Mick? You know, Prepper Mick, great point. Prepper Mick says, one thing I don't see anyone in the prepper community is prepping a small business to survive. Well, I've never really given any ideas as to, what small businesses you should open, but I've always stated, Prepper Nick, and I'm not sure how long you've been with us, so excuse me on that, but I've always stated that everyone has a kung fu, meaning that everyone has a skill that they can do well, and that you should expand on that skill and be able to use it to feed yourself, during a crisis. Because a person that has a skill that can be barterable, or that you can sell that skill because you're going to be able to do something that someone else can't, then that will keep you fed during a crisis. So yes, having a skill, not in my opinion, not necessarily having a small business, but having a skill that you can turn into somewhat of a business that you can trade for either currency or that you can trade for goods should you ever have to. But in addition to that, I agree with you 100% that we should all have like a second thing that we can fall back on. So if you do have a kung fu, and everyone does, if there is something that you enjoy doing that you can turn into a profitable enterprise, I guess you can say, then go ahead and do it now. If you do it as a hobby and you can take that hobby and turn it into something that can actually provide you with income, don't wait. Do it now, especially if you enjoy doing it. So go ahead and do it now. I think that's a great point. Oh, so we have, that's as of the 4th. Forest, 26 days of distillate in the reserve as of the 4th. I read somewhere that they were going to come out with new numbers on the 12th. So I'll see if I can find those new numbers. Maybe they haven't yet. But I think it was like 25.9 days or 25.8 the last time that I looked at that. So if it's 26 right now, then that means that we're keeping up with production. We're producing just enough to go ahead and use on an everyday basis, which in a way is a good thing that number's not going down. Let me see. Devin Handy, hello and thank you. AP, their end goal is to crash the entire system, bring in their CBDC to enslave and control everyone. Devin Handy, have you been watching the Alaska Prepper? Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. They have to create some kind of a crisis. And I believe personally that it's going to be somewhat of a financial crisis where the financial system is just going to implode, and they're going to talk everyone into accepting the CBDC. Maybe they'll start off with the Fed Now coin, which is what they're working on. They'll talk most of the people, and as you all saw, most of the people, ladies and gentlemen, will say yes to a CBDC. I'm telling you this right now. When they come out, you have to prepare for this. And the way that you prepare for this is getting everything that you're going to need for as long as you can possibly hold it. So if you have room for the next 2 years, that's what I would do. I would keep stacking whatever I know I'm going to need for the next several years, because it gives you the ability to resist, right? Having what you need gives you the ability to stay sovereign, right? And what they'll do is they will create a crisis where most of the people, and you just saw what happened, most of the people will ask for their own enslavement by accepting that CBDC. And another portion of the people are going to say yes because they have no choice, because they didn't prepare, because they have nothing, and they need to feed their children and themselves. So most of the people will accept the CBDC. It's coming. They may call it something else other than a CBDC. But as long as you see the word programmable, and whatever it is that they put out, programmable money or programmable currency or programmable notes, whatever they want to use, as long as you see the word programmable, that's it. They're going to be able to tell you or dictate to you what you can and can't buy. But I believe that in the beginning, it's going to be great. I believe that in the beginning, they're going to make it as friendly as possible. They're going to be like, oh, no, you can buy whatever you want. It doesn't matter. There's no holds on what you can buy. You can get whatever you want, because that CBDC that they come out with, or the Fed Now coin, whatever they call it, it's going to be working in conjunction with cash, right? So as long as you have cash, they cannot control what you do with your CBDC, because people will just go ahead and use cash. But I would say that probably within a year or so, maybe 2, of everything going great, they're going to come up with a reason why they need to eliminate cash. Maybe they'll say something like, hey, look at how great the CBDCs are working. I mean, we don't need cash. Cash has bacteria in it. It's dirty. It can be used for malfeasance. People can do illegal things with it. Why don't we just get rid of cash and just stick to the CBDC because it's working so great? And people are going to say, okay, let's get rid of cash. When they get rid of cash, guess what? Here comes net zero. Here comes carbon credits. Here comes social credit program. Here comes programmable money, where you will be limited as to what you can and can't get according to the ESG that has been put out by the United Nations. And the United Nations, last I checked, is not an elected government office. So, and at least that's how I see it. Let's call that part of this live stream my conspiracy part of the live stream. That's how I see it coming down the road. I hope 100% that I am 100% wrong. I really do. But when you take a look at the state of our being here in the United States, and I've spoken about this before, where more than 60% of Americans are literally living paycheck to paycheck. 50% of Americans cannot stand a $1,000 emergency. They don't have it. And Americans are now surviving on credit cards, meaning that they're spending more every month than what they can bring in, and they're putting that deficit on a credit card. So when you put all of these things together and they create a crisis where even more people will be destitute, they will be just too happy to accept it. But first, they have to give some, first the people have to get pain. First, you have to bring that pain, whatever crisis it is, whatever false flag, whatever you want to call it. First, you're going to have to feel some pain in general, I mean, right? And then once they've stewed in that pain for so long, they're going to come out with that. And that's why 2024 is going to be so very important, because understand this, it doesn't matter, in my opinion, what 2024 brings. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle it brings to the ivory tower. It don't matter. There's going to be a lot of violence, in my opinion, and that's why it's so important. 2024 is because depending on what side of the aisle is in power will depend on whether that CBDC progresses. But I think they're going to do it before then. I think something will happen before then for it to for them to roll it out. And again, in 2024, I just don't think it's going to be any good after that. Let me see. Aloha J question: What is my personal opinion on how FTX will affect the market and banking? Well, what I think is going to do, the way that I think that this FTX fiasco will affect banking the most, is that government now has a great reason to put out a whole bunch of new regulations. They have a reason to put out a whole bunch of new regulations against crypto, against banking institutions, about know your customer, regulations that they put on banking. They're going to be able to take this and run with it and create a whole bunch more regulations. And the average person that doesn't decide to educate themselves on these matters, they're going to say, yeah, that's no problem. It's no problem. I think that's how it will affect it the most. How will it affect the people that were vested in it? I know there was a lot of millionaires and billionaires as well that were affected by this, that lost everything that they invested in it. But I think that it will end up affecting those people that had pensions with hedge funds that were vested in it as well. And of course, all of that money that we sent to the big U is pretty much lost now. But I honestly don't know if it's going to have any direct effect, like in the markets, like Monday, on the opening on Monday. I don't know if it's going to make the markets go down. It would make sense if it does, because like I said, a lot of hedge funds were vested in FTX. So that's right off their bottom line. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, Susan says we need to have our parallel economy in place. That's getting to know your farmer, getting to know your neighbors, right? I have one of my really good friends that lives near me. He has chickens, and he just dropped me off. He's got so many eggs that he dropped me off a few dozen eggs here the other day. I traded him, though, for a ribeye. So I cooked him lunch, but he dropped me off a whole bunch of eggs. But yeah, get to know your farmer, get to know your neighbors. I think that's one of the most important things that you can get to do. Your small local businesses, make sure that they know who you are. How do you do that when they see 100 people a day? Be kind. Trust me, be kind. You have your average little business that sees 100, 200 people a day. Most of those people don't even say thank you. Be kind, get to know them, right? And they'll remember you. Trust me, they will. Yep, you're right, Jack. Jack says used 2010 Toyota trucks are 20,000 easy around here, and it's ridiculous. Got a Honda Ridge, '07, still $10,000. Yeah, it's going to. Well, I think it's going to drop here in the next year or so. I really do, because right now we're having a whole bunch of repossessions. There's people that can't afford their car payments, and a lot of those vehicles are being repossessed and auctioned off. And even at the auction, they're not getting what they want to get for those cars. A lot of them are not being sold because they're asking for too much money. So I think that eventually that's going to trickle down to the used car lot market, where you go to a used car lot where they're not going to have any choice but to bring their prices down. And eventually it'll bring prices down. But yeah, I was talking to my buddy the other day about my Toyota Tundra. And it's funny because you say 2010 and my Toyota Tundra is a 2010. And I could probably sell that truck for twice as much as what I bought it for. I think I've had it for about 2 or 3 years now, at least about 3 years, I think. I could probably sell it for twice as much easily for what I bought it for, but I won't do that. I love that truck. Let's see, what else do we got here? Do not let me forget. Don't let me forget about the giveaway. Okay, where are we at? We're at 46 minutes. Hey, Village Homestead, how you doing? Good to see you. Suzanne Getz, how you doing? How you doing, Prepper Mick? Let me see. Selena Neo, how you doing? Snakebite is here. All right, let's see. I'm looking. I'm going to do a little mail call here in a minute, okay? Just Arizona, how you doing? Blessings to you as well. Thank you. Well, Forrest, I won't get into it. I don't think that's a factual statement. I think that there are some cryptocurrencies that are the real deal, that are decentralized. And decentralized is the big deal when it comes to cryptocurrencies, and holding your own cryptocurrencies and your own hardware. That's the big deal as well. You have to really understand the system in order to understand all that kind of stuff. But, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to talk about cryptos today and why you should have some and all that. I've got a little bit. I have a little bit, and I've made money off of cryptos in the past. It's all about knowing when to get in and when to get out. But I definitely won't hold it, like for long term. The only reason why I do cryptos is because I want to be able to use it to make money so that I can get out of it when I feel it's right time to get out of it, and take that money that I made and turn it into real stuff, right? Turn it into real stuff. It's a tool that you can use to make money, and then money is a tool that you can use to get real things or make your life or someone else's life better. That's what it's about. And I prefer trading cryptocurrencies over trading the stock market, because when you're trading cryptocurrencies, well, not in this case, you see, eventually, ladies and gentlemen, I think cryptocurrencies will be taken over. It will be taken over by evil, right? And it will be used against the people. But while you still can use it in order to better your life, if you know what you're doing, okay, and you're not greedy, right? If you can use it right now in order to better your life by knowing what to do, how to get in, how to get out, and all that kind of stuff, holding your own private keys, then you might as well. So I would rather do it with cryptos than to do it in the stock market, because the stock market, man, it's just got so much blood on its hands. But cryptos is slowly turning that way, as well as all of these big corporations and millionaires and billionaires get into it as well. So it's kind of like getting spoiled as well. So eventually, in my opinion, it won't be any good unless you actually do trading crypto to crypto with someone else for value. So, but like I said, that would be a whole live stream talking about that. Survival Living is in the house. How you doing, Joseph? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. But Forrest, in addition to that, there is one Ponzi scheme. Can anyone tell me? Go ahead and put it in all caps. Can anyone tell me what Ponzi scheme, if you think that cryptos are a Ponzi scheme, can anyone tell me what Ponzi scheme is even bigger than cryptos by hundreds of thousands of percents? Put it in all caps. What Ponzi scheme do you think is bigger than cryptos by hundreds of thousands of percents more? Let's see if anyone gets this right. How you doing, Maida? Good to see you. Beam B, how you doing? Good to see you. Pampa J, happy Sunday to you. All right, let's bring it to the bottom so I can do a little mail call. Tonette, how you doing? I didn't see you here earlier. Say hello to the hubby. Potato Head's in the house. That's why I'm an advocate of having some precious metals. Karen says, you won't be able to pay your property taxes without money. That's why I'm an advocate of having some precious metals. Because it doesn't matter what country you go to right now. It doesn't matter what country you go to. You can take precious metals, be it gold or silver, and you can find a way to exchange that money, gold or silver, into the currency that that country is using. So that's why I'm an advocate. A lot of people say, I'd rather buy land before I buy gold and silver. Well, I think we should be diversified in everything. Right? I would like to have a nice big piece of land also, in addition to where I live now. But you have to pay taxes on that, right? Well, actually, the piece of land that I want to buy is north of here, and there's actually no property taxes. But the average person that buys land in the United States more than likely will pay taxes on that land. Well, if you're going to have to pay taxes on it, would you rather save the money that you're going to use to pay taxes on it in the future in paper that can go down to zero, just like that FTX did? Or save it in something that's got a history for, as long as humankind has been around and been able to interact intelligently, I would say, that's been actually used as money. And where anywhere in the world that you go right now, you can actually exchange that metal for the currency of that country that you're in, right? So, why do you think if gold and silver was nothing, if gold and silver was just a relic, right? Why are central banks this year getting more gold, really buying more gold than the last 55 years? If it's such a piece of junk, why are banks, central banks and governments buying so much of it? It's because it's because they know what it is. And they know that eventually when this fiat system implodes, they know that the people are going to want something that they can hold accountable. And gold and silver will hold a government accountable and not allow them to overspend the way that they've been doing for the last 51 or so years with fiat currencies. So yeah, I like land, and I also like precious metals. Well, Paige Rickards, how you doing, Paige Rickards? First of all, what are people on Social Security and disability supposed to do? I don't know. I did a video a long time ago, and I got a little bit of hate on that video. And it was, I don't know, it was sometime this year. But the title of the video was something like people on Social Security and on fixed incomes are doomed. I titled it something like that. And the reason is because I was talking about inflation. I was talking about inflation during that video, saying that it doesn't matter how much Social Security, how much your pension is. Your cost of living allowance for your Social Security or your pension, it's not going to keep up with inflation. So eventually, depending on how long you live, eventually you're going to see your standard of living going down and down and down. And it's not because you did something wrong. It's because the government continues to allow the Federal Reserve and the banks to print money out of thin air that take its value from your dollars that you've already earned and are earning today. So yeah, like I said, it's going to get tough. That's why community, family first. Family first. You see how we've changed here in the United States, where at one time, family was the first that you went to when you had a problem. If you needed help with something, you go to family, friends, church, community, right? And now when people need help, who do they look to? They look to the government, asking the government for help. And when in fact, the government is the entity that has passed all these policies that has put us in the place that we're in. You know, people are still asking the government for more stimulus checks, and they don't understand. They can't connect them. They can't do the connection. They can't connect the stimulus checks and inflation. They're like, well, we need more money because things cost too much. But the reason things cost too much is because we printed more money. We printed too much money. In the last 30 months, the United States government has printed about 1/3 of all of the money that has ever existed in the United States of America. All right, wrap that one around your head. I'm going to say it again. In the last 30 months, the U.S. government, i.e. Federal Reserve, banks, all in the same, right? One in the same, has printed out of thin air, all right, about 1/3, 30%, I would say more than that, of all of the money that has ever existed in the United States of America. What do you think it's going to do to inflation? Are you earning 30% more? No, you're not. But it's going to make inflation go up even more than that. Inflation has only started, ladies and gentlemen. Inflation has only started. And you know what? For those of you that may have a tough time in the next few years because you have not been able to prepare the way that you can, please teach your children. Teach your children. That way your children can understand what's happening. That way, in another generation or 2 generations, when your children are our age, they can see what's happening before it happens and put a stop to it, right? There's a lot of people that are going to suffer this time around. We are going through a paradigm shift. We are in what is called the 4th turning. We are going to have a really tough time for the next 10 plus years. We are going through a paradigm shift, all right? But once we get to that other side of the paradigm shift, it's going to be springtime and it's going to be good times again. But for those of you that can't prepare, or couldn't prepare, or didn't prepare, it doesn't matter what the reason is, whether it was through your own ignorance, whether it was through the ignorance that schools, that public schools put into our children, put into us when we were younger. It doesn't matter why. What matters is the outcome. But we can teach our children now. That way, when they're our age, hopefully they still remember these lessons that we teach them now. And they can remember. That way it doesn't happen again. I'm not sure of any parent that doesn't want their children to have a better life than what they had. And it seems that this generation, the children are going to have a worse life than what their parents had. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to money. Why? Because money is the equivalent of energy. If you create money out of nothing, where did that energy come from? It's got to come from somewhere. Where did the energy that your money has to go buy something, where did it come from? If it's printed out of thin air, if nothing was produced, if there's nothing on that other side of the tablet, right? If you've got an in, but you don't have an out, where did that money come from? Where did the spending power for that money come from? Well, it comes from the dollars that you already earned. And that is what inflation is. It's an increase in the monetary supply, which steals your wealth. But more importantly, it steals your time, because it takes you time to earn that money that is now being devalued. Well, teach your children. I can tell you right now, if little Miss Alaska Prepper was right here right now, I can ask her, what's fiat currency? What's the difference between fiat currency and currency? What's the difference between currency and real money? There's a difference in everything. And if your children know this, they can see it in the future when it starts to happen again, because it's going to happen again. It could be very well that when we get done with the next several years of pain, it could be very well that we enter into a new monetary system where the currency, the dollar, let's say, is actually backed by something that's real, by gold, by silver, by oil, by grain, by whatever, but that it is actually backed by something that is real, that can be exchanged for that dollar bill, right? And if we do that, it's going to be good. We will have prosperity, right? Because everything that is earned, all of the money that's in existence is money that has a counterpart, that has something that you can actually get with it, and there won't be inflation like there is now. If you take a look at inflation before 1970, let's say, you'll see that the inflation was very flat. There was almost no inflation whatsoever. And then once 1971 came about, that they took us off the gold standard, you'll see that inflation went up like that. It did a hockey stick, and it did a hockey stick as far as the money creation, because that's what inflation is. And then you all hear about what happened about the inflation in 1970s, 1980s. It's because of that, because they took us off the gold standard and the government started printing like crazy, devaluing the money that the people already had. Same thing is happening now, except this time it's going to be a lot worse, because there's a lot more money in the system now that has not been realized in the price of goods. And when that happens, we will see what is hyperinflation. And I do believe that when that happens is when they will come out with their CBDC. Let's see, did anybody guess what is the bigger Ponzi scheme than cryptocurrencies by thousands of percents or hundreds of thousands of percents? I'm going to bring it down a little bit to see if anybody got it. Let's see. How you doing, Tip Top Girl? Joseph asked, how do we enter for the Advent calendar? I'm going to be doing a random, all right? I'll give you a code word here in a minute. Where are we at? Yeah, let's go ahead and start to get to that. Let me bring it down. I'm not seeing anyone answered that question. Yeah, freedom for all. I understand that. I always say money because that's how people understand it, all right? But yes, let me go ahead and tell you all, give you all a quick lesson on that, if you don't mind. All right, fiat currency is this. Fiat currency is something that is backed up by nothing. It's currency that is brought into reality by fiat or by edict. It's the same thing. Someone in the government says, hey, Federal Reserve, I need more money, right? But people are used to calling it money, right? That's why I always say money instead of seeing fiat currency all the time. But the government says, hey, Federal Reserve, I need more money. So they're like, okay, let me print you up another trillion of these, right? Out of thin air. Nobody worked for it. There was no production that brought this to light. That's a fiat currency, something that is brought to light by edict, right? And people think this is money. Now, currency, let me show you what currency is. Currency is when you have one of these, but it's backed by one of these, all right? That's currency. This is real money. Currency is when you can take this into a bank and say, hey, yeah, I want to go ahead and exchange this currency for the amount of silver or gold that backs it up. That's currency. It's like a note that has something that you can actually get for it in the bank. That's currency, right? So fiat currency, nothing's backing it up. Currency is a note that is backed up. That's currency. And real money is this right here, real money. This is money. Fiat currency is backed up by real money. I mean, currency is backed up by real money. Fiat currency has no backing, right? So when I talk like that, it's because I hope that people understand that. But I try to give it a quick explanation. That way people understand that when I say money, I mean fiat currency. That's all it is. It has no value. Glory to God. How you doing? Blessings to you as well. Hey, there you go. Trucker Hersey got it. The biggest, a Ponzi scheme that is way bigger than cryptos by hundreds of thousands of percent is the US dollar or the Federal Reserve note. That is the biggest Ponzi scheme, ladies and gentlemen, that has ever existed in the history of mankind. Now, this is a great point that I'm going to make here. Man, this is actually a great opportunity to talk about this. So you all know, if you've been following me for a while, I've often said, listen, when the dollar reserve fails, when we lose the dollar reserve status in the world, when it fails, a lot of people are going to get hurt and a lot of people will die because it will become a resource issue. Now, look at this FTX that just went to zero. Look at how many people it hurt, right? This FTX went to zero. Now, thankfully, a lot of the investors in this were people that had a lot of money, but a lot of the investors were also retail investors, mom and pops, the average Joe in the street, Joe and Jane in the street, right? Now they don't have that money anymore. So now they don't have that purchasing power anymore. It's gone. But what happens when that happens to the dollar? What's going to happen when the same thing happens to the dollar that happened to the FTX exchange? That means that all of the dollars that you're holding, they're going to be worthless. How are you going to exchange value? How are we going to be able to import? How are we going to be able to import when the dollar is worthless, when it's got no worth? Ladies and gentlemen, countries are waking up to this. Countries are waking up to the fallacy that is the US Federal Reserve note. They are deciding to stop using it for international trade. And the catalyst, in my opinion, will be when Saudi Arabia joins the BRICS nations and depegs oil sales from the dollar for international buyers. Once Saudi Arabia says, yep, we're part of the BRICS nations, you can buy your oil from OPEC in whatever currency you want. Man, if you hear that in the news, you better be running out to get all the rice and beans that you can. And by that, I mean whatever preps you need to fill in the gaps for as long as you can, because that is going to change everything. We are going to see a standard of living decrease in the United States like we've never seen before. And it's going to hurt a lot of people. And a lot of people are going to perish. And why is that? Because they're not going to be able to get help, not even from our own government. They won't be able to get help. A government's power comes from fiat currency. When a government has a fiat currency attached to a printing press, that is where it gets its power. But when a government has to adhere to true money, to real money, sound money, the power is given to the people. The people have the power. Why do you think the government doesn't want to allow the price of gold and silver to be traded freely? They have to manipulate it. That's why. Gold and silver are the kryptonite to the US dollar, to the US Federal Reserve note. That is why governments want nothing to do with it. That is why governments hold it. They don't want their citizens to have anything to do with it, but that is why they hold it, and that is why they depress it, right, and manipulate it. It's because they don't want people to get to know that that is real money. They want people to think that those dollar bills that they print out of nothing, that steal your wealth, they want people to think that that has real value when it doesn't. Yeah, I'm really happy to see that a lot of people here said the dollar. Yes, it is indeed. And those of you that said the Federal Reserve, I'm pretty sure that that's what you meant, the dollar, right? Because that's what they create. It's good to see that I'm in good company. Someone said Social Security. Now, Social Security is Kelly. Social Security is a huge Ponzi scheme, a huge, but not as big as the dollar. But you're all on the right track, man. That's awesome. All right, let's go ahead and do a little mail call, all right? Because you all spoiled me. Wait a minute. I see that I got a super chat a few minutes ago. Let me see if I can read this super chat because it's not fair for me not to. Let me see. Devon, thank you very much. I know this is my second comment and YouTube monitors what I said, but what do you suggest we do when we feel like the so-called contest was taken? I have bad feelings that a lot of bad stuff is coming when both houses are taken. Devin, first of all, thank you very much. And the thing is that there's nothing that we can do. Right. And I know that I've said this often. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm a cycles person. Countries have a life cycle of about 250 years. I believe we're at about 246 or something like that here in the United States of America. It's why I'm resolute that within my in my lifetime, the United States of America will either have a different form of governance, either for the better or for the worse, or that it will be split up into two, or that it will have a different name altogether because we had some kind of a revolution or some kind of a coup or something like that. I don't know if it's going to be for the better or the worse. But the thing is that on a personal basis, in my opinion, the best that you can do is talk about it, teach your children, prepare as best as you possibly can. That way, when we get to the other side of whatever crisis they throw at us, we can be strong and we can lead instead of having to follow and beg because we weren't prepared enough. I think that's the best that we can do because, in all honesty, there's nothing that we can do on a personal basis right now. What can we do? It's like you said, the contest Is it even worth putting in a ballot for that contest that they have every 2 and 4 years? Some people would say no, it's not worth it because it's so manipulated, you know. But I think that what's going to happen is going to happen no matter what. I think that the hard times that are coming, they are coming no matter what anyone does. Even if your party of choice has all three, even if they have the House, the Senate, and the executive, even if your party of choice has all three, the things that are coming, they can't be reversed. And the reason I say that is because I stick by what I've said often in the past, is that a government's foundation, when not based on morals, i.e. the rule of law, and when not based on real money, on sound money, that foundation is faulty and it will crumble. And I keep going back to money, but remember what I said, that money or fiat currency is what gives a government power. And remember, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. When a government is given that power, that is it. It's over. You will suffer until you get to the other side. And hopefully that other side is going to be a better side. See, in 1776, before 1776, a lot of the same things that are happening now were happening then. It's just we didn't have technology back then, right? But when you think about taxes, when you think about the oppressive manner in which the colonists were being treated by England, you take a look at all of the things that they did back then, and then you compare it to what's happening now. It's kind of like the same thing, right? It's just now we have a more technologically advanced than they were back then. So it's kind of like different in nature, but it's still the same thing. So I believe it's going to happen again. And that's what we need to prepare for. We need to prepare first and foremost for everyday life, because anything can happen. But we also, in my opinion, if you're a patriot, if you love the United States of America, i.e. your countrymen, then you have to prepare for when we get over to the other side. When this final crisis that occurs, and whatever suffering that has to occur will occur. It will occur. It doesn't matter what side is on, in the House and the Senate and in the executive, because once our monetary system finally dies, everyone, not only in this country, but everyone in the world that's pegged to the Federal Reserve note is going to do a lot of suffering. So in my opinion, there's really nothing that we can do to stop it. We can do things to slow the train from hitting the wall. We can do that, but it's eventually going to hit the wall. It doesn't matter. It's going to hit the wall. I hate talking like that because it sounds like maybe I have no hope, but I do have hope. I have hope that our country will one day be a great nation, just like it was several decades ago, right? And when I say a great nation, I mean that we will have a form of governance that is what it's supposed to be as far as being a republic. See, a republic is there to make sure that your rights are not taken from you, that your rights are protected. And a democracy is there to allow the 51% to tell the other 49% how they should live their lives. And the heck with your rights, right? The heck with your rights. It doesn't matter. In a democracy, as you can see it happening right now, all you need is 51% of the vote. And then they can tell you how you're going to live your life, whether you like it or not. One day I see this country going back to being a republic, be it the whole nation or part of the nation or half of the nation or however it works out. I see that happening one day again. So I have hope that my children will be able to live, a life where they can actually experience freedom instead of oppression. Because even those of us that feel that we are the most free, for example, I feel that I live a very free life right now. Why? Because I'm retired. What I'm doing right now here with you all, I love to do. Nobody's making me do this. I don't feel like I have to do this. I'm here because I really enjoy doing this. When I put up a video, it's because I really enjoy doing it. So I'm living a great life right now. I'm in a great part of my life. I have nothing to complain for, but I look out to the future and see what kind of life are my children going to have if we keep going down this path. And that's what I hope, that we're gonna end up being on the right side of history when this is all over. But I often say that without, if you just hope and you don't prepare, then all you have is hope. And hope's not going to get the job done. I'm sure that a lot of people get sick of me saying, you need to prepare, you need to prepare, you need to prepare. Ladies and gentlemen, we do need to prepare. We need to prepare if we want to make sure that we have a better future, or our children have a better future. All right. Okay. Let me do my mail call. Okay. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to do my mail call. I'm going to bring it down quick. That way I don't get stuck on a question. Hey, thank you, Steve Gray. Thank you very much. Blessings to you as well, by the way. Thank you. Oh, you see, I just can't stop. If I see something that says question, I have to stop. How to keep your indoor growing to be so hot? I have my huge hydroponics with lights and chitin potatoes. How to keep your indoor growing to be so hot? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you need more heat, then put more heat in there. I'm not sure what your question is exactly. And you know what? When I was using my little arrow gardens, I was growing in the winter and it was pretty good. It was working out pretty good. I mean, I grew some really nice tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, good lettuce and stuff like that. And the average temperature inside my house is about 61, 62 degrees. That's the average temperature in the winter. And that's comfortable for us. So maybe grow something that will grow pretty good in a cooler environment. That way you don't have to supplement the heating that much. Okay, bring it down. Where are we at? Wow, we have to do this giveaway, ladies and gentlemen. You all got me talking a lot today. There you go. Pleasantly planted. Reptile heating mats under pots with a waterproof barrier. That's great. Yeah, if you have the ability to pay for the electricity for that, then yeah, that'll work great. Hey, Jeff, my middle name, I don't have a middle name. My first name is Alaska. My last name is Prepper. Actually, you're not going to believe what my middle name is, right? It's Michael. So, Michael, my grandson, his name is my middle name. Hey, how are you? Let's see. Albertology. How are you doing from SoCal? All right, let me show you my mail call. So, oh, you know what? I forgot it. I forgot one of the things that I got, but I'll show it to you in a different video. So I got one of these. It's got a picture of Lucy on it. That's our new cat. Looks just like this. She looks just like this. So thank you very much who sent me this. And I got one of these for Veterans Day. And what I really like is this. So thank you. Proud to be an American. I'm not going to use this as a bookmark. I'll probably put it up here somewhere. All right, so that it can be up there. So thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, I got something that kind of like made me a little emotional. And I also got something else that kind of like made me a little emotional that I left in the house, but I'll show it on a video. And but I'll show that on a video. But I received a letter, and I'm even going to mention this person's name. Not the last name, but your name is Paul. Paul, thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. And I'm going to give you a quick, I'm not going to read it, but I'm going to tell you, kind of like paraphrase what the letter says. Paul told me that, he's been watching a video, and he watched a specific video that I put out where I was talking about how it is that the establishment wants to divide us, that they want you to hate me because I'm not the same color you are, or the same gender, sex, because they want people to hate each other because they're rich or poor. But their agenda is to make sure that we stay divided, and they want to nitpick at the things that we can use, that they can use to divide us, so that we can keep hating each other. And he wrote to me on here, and I was so very happy to hear that. He said, listen, I was going to use some of your links just to support you because I really like your message. But I have everything I need. I have all the preps that I need. And I was like, all right, that's awesome. I mean, I love hearing that when someone tells me, hey, I've got all the preps that I need. And he says, so instead I sent you this. And like I said, He sent me this. I'm not sure if you can see it, but he sent me this 5-ounce silver bar. And it's too bad that you can't see it, but it's beautiful. So, Paul, I want to say thank you. This is going to be one of those silver bars that I won't put away. I won't put away in deep storage. And I took it out of the plastic because I love when silver patinas. So I'm going to have this here on my desk. I just want to say thank you very much. This is a huge deal to me. So thank you so much for sending me this. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. And I hope that you're watching this so that you can see that I got it. So thank you so much. You all are way too good to me, ladies and gentlemen, and I do appreciate every one of you. So thank you. And now let's do the giveaway. Let's see. I'm gonna bring this down. Hey, there's Pinball. Look at that, ladies. You know, speak of the devil, and he appears. What's up, Pinball? Good to see you, brother. There's Pinball. So go check him out, ladies and gentlemen. You should have gotten the link for his channel here earlier on. But go check out Pinball Preparedness. He's a good man. Yes, Advent. All right, so no, it's not. That's not going to be it. So, hey, Pinball, stick around if you like tea. I'm giving away 4 Advent tea calendars. This is what we're giving away, 4 of these. All right. All right. Okay. So, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to have a big December bash giveaway. So remember, I did my December or Christmas in August. So I'm going to have one, but it may not be as big as it normally has been in the last years. All right. So I kind of like, oh, sweet. All right, good. We'll stick around, Pinball. Maybe you'll get lucky. All right. Let me go ahead and put the, word. And remember that the words is going to be the word that you're going to use to enter for the giveaway. It's going to be exactly as you see it on the screen. Okay. Okay, so let me get rid of this. I have to bring up the other one. Present. This one right here. All right, so if you don't see that, let me go ahead and start selecting. That's going to be the code word that you use for the giveaway. I love America, and there's no spaces, and it's all in caps. I love America, no spaces, all in caps. And I'm going to give you a few good minutes. That way, if there's any of you that are watching from your phone and you have to actually punch it in with your thumb, that you have time to do that. All right. And we're going to be giving 4 of these away. Okay. Now, for anybody that wins, you have to reside in the United States or Puerto Rico or Hawaii or Alaska, obviously. All right. Because being that this is tea, this is not going to make it through customs. All right. And you're going to have to send me your information, your shipping information, your name, and wherever you want me to send it to. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and leave the email down here to where you need to send your information if you win. Now, this email address that you're seeing here in the bottom, that's email address for people that win something on a giveaway like this. All right. I have 2 other email addresses that are in the description of all of my videos. One of them is for Intel, if you have Intel to send me, and the other one is for general questions or recommendations and things like that. So please use those for those purposes, but this one is only for whoever wins, okay? And again, I'm going to need your name, your shipping information. I will not share with anybody, all right, ladies and gentlemen, and then that way I can ship it to you, all right, to whoever wins. But make sure that you continue to look at the email. It's onewinnerwinner2@gmail.com. And the word is, you all doing a great job today. You're doing a great job. I love America, all in caps and no spaces in between. A lot of times I have to tell people, no, you have to put it all in caps. You have to put it all in caps. So look at that. I don't see any of you today putting it in lowercase. Gail Hooper says, I love America and tea. Well, that's good because that's what we're giving away today. Let me see. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, okay? For those of you that maybe asked a question that I missed, go ahead and re-ask it. And I'm going to give this a couple of minutes to give everyone a chance to enter. That way, you can have a chance to enter and not be left out. All right. So if you did have a question that I missed, go ahead and put it up, and I'll try to catch it. Hey, how you doing, Connie? Good to see you. Oh, thank you, Copernicus. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enter the draw, please be polite enough to like the video. Thank you, Copernicus. Yeah, me too. Deanna Meyer, I am too, pretty much coffee. Once in a while, I'll have a tea here or there, but I like my coffee. Actually, let me take a sip of my coffee now. Here you go, Mario. This is what it looks like. All right. So whoever wins, make sure that you send me your stuff right away so I'll ship it out on Monday or Tuesday. That way you can get it before December 1st. All right. So this is what it looks like, Mario. And there's supposed to be 24. There should be 24 T's in there. Let's see. Okay, let's bring it down a little bit. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes because I really want those of you that want to enter to actually enter. Hey, how you doing, Timothy? Good to see you. Username, I love America has to be no spaces. All right, no spaces in between. I love America, okay? Just like this, right? Do it just like that. Go ahead and re-enter that username. That way you can make sure you're entered. Hey, how you doing, Surviving Behind Liberal Lines? Good to see you. Raymond Moore, yes. Well, first and foremost, I think that, just in case somebody can't see the question, Raymond asks, what can one do to protect themselves from the great devaluation? Do you like silver over gold? I like silver over gold as far as I don't really buy silver or gold as an investment. I get it mainly because I know it's going to preserve my purchasing power long term. I don't mean for like holding it for a month or 2 months. I'm talking about I'm holding a long term. I'm only going to use it if I have to, right? That's why I get it. I like silver over gold because I think that eventually you're actually going to have gains. So it's going to act like an investment because it's actually going to make gains on what it is now. So for example, if a silver quarter right now can buy you a gallon of gas, which it can, a 1964 prior silver quarter right now, if you go trade it in at your coin shop, it'll be able to buy you a gallon of gas. The same thing that it was able to buy you back in 1964. But I believe that during the next valuation of gold and silver, right, I think that the purchasing power is actually going to go up. Meaning that, let's say that we had already reevaluated gold and silver, right? And today we're living in that new paradigm. I believe that silver quarter would buy you multiple gallons of gas because silver and gold have been, kept down for so long. The price has been manipulated for so long that it's kind of like holding a beach ball underwater. So when you think of silver and gold, you can think of it being in a bubble, but it's an inverse bubble. So instead of a bubble that goes up, it's an inverse bubble. So if you got a beach ball that you're holding down, when it finally lets go, it's just going to shoot straight up, right? So I think it's going to end up actually gaining purchasing power instead of just keeping its purchasing power. So I like silver better than gold. However, I think that being diversified is a good idea. I was watching the Economic Ninja the other day, and he on a video, I think it was him and Chris from Financial Prepper. On a video, he said that he likes to ratio his silver and gold to like 10-1, meaning that for like every $1,000 that he spends on silver, he'll spend about $100 in gold. So I think that's what he says. And I think that's a good ratio, 10-to-1, meaning 10 times the dollar amount that you're buying in silver. I mean, 1/10 of the dollar amount that you're buying in silver, you buy in gold. So if you buy 100 ounces of silver, you're probably going to end up buying maybe 1/10 of an ounce of gold or something like that. All right, whatever it comes out to. But yeah, I think it's good to be diversified. I like them both, but if I could only choose one, I would choose silver. Good question, by the way. Thank you for that. Gen X Prepper, I might have gotten an email from you. I get so many emails that I get backed up. All right. So usually once a month or so, I'll go in there and clean out my emails and look at all of them. But ladies and gentlemen, if you send me an email that just has like an article or something like that, and I don't reply back, it doesn't mean that I didn't see it. Usually the only emails that I'll reply back to is a specific question, right? And and a lot of times it takes me a week or two to get to your emails. And that's something that's always going to be that way, because I'm not going to hire someone to look at my emails, say you all send me, So I thought about it, but I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. City Prepper says, I love bacon. Hey, we're in the same boat. Me too. R&R Animal Rescue, AP, how to stash preps in or out from robbers. There's nothing you can do about that, in my opinion. Just be prepared for if somebody does want to come and rob you or steal from you. I mean, obviously you can go nuts and put preps in between walls and stuff like that. People did that back during World War II. They would put preps in between walls so that nobody else would find them, because they were in such dire straits. But like, for example, like my prepper pantry that I have, it's open. If somebody comes in, they can take whatever. But I think that the right answer is to have more than one location with preps. Don't keep them all in the exact same location. All right. So that's what I would say to that, because you can't, I mean, you really can't hide it. I mean, I guess you could if you really wanted to and you have the resources, but most people can't really, pull up their floorboards to hide preps or stuff like that. I don't worry about that. I just have more than one place where I have preps, and I have security, right? My dogs are security, believe it or not. They do a great job of letting me know when there's someone there that shouldn't be there, right? And then, of course, I have self-defense, right? And if you can create barriers between the outside of your house and the inside of your house, those barriers won't stop someone from coming in, but it will slow them down, giving you time to get ready for the fight. Ellie May, great question. Is gold jewelry and diamonds as good as gold and silver? I would say gold jewelry, yes. Diamonds, no. Gold jewelry, if you already have it, great, keep it. Don't get rid of it. Whatever gold or silver is in your jewelry is still a monetary metal. You just have to find out what percentage of gold or silver is in your jewelry in order for you to find out exactly how much of that monetary metal it has. So, for example, if you have 22 karat gold chain, it means that if you weigh that gold chain, 91.67% of the weight of that gold chain is pure gold. And then the other is just other alloys. All right. Same thing with silver. All right. Silver, for example, let's say you have a teapot, or let's say you have a thick chain of silver, like a bracelet, and it's 92.5%, which is sterling. Then that means that 92.5% of whatever that chain weighs is pure silver. Diamonds, I would say no, because diamonds are not really divisible, meaning that if you take a 1 carat, let's say you have a 5 carat diamond, right? It's very expensive. A 5 carat diamond is very expensive. What happens if you take that 5 carat diamond and you cut it up into 5 pieces? Now you have 5 1 carat diamonds. Well, more than likely, those 5 1 carat diamonds are not going to be worth as much cumulatively as that 5 carat diamond that was in one piece. All right. So it's not very good at you being able to separate it into pieces. Now, a silver coin, a 1 ounce 999 silver coin, let's say it's worth $20. If you cut it in half, one of those halves is worth $10 of silver. If you cut it in a quarter, one of that quarter is going to be $5 of silver. It doesn't matter how. It's very divisible. You can cut it into grams if you want, and it's going to be worth that divided into an ounce of silver. I hope that I explained that well. So I wouldn't buy gold jewelry or silver jewelry to use as to preserve your wealth, because the premium on jewelry for someone to make it is very, very high. So if you're buying it just to preserve your wealth, I would just buy silver coins, silver or gold coins or bars, right? Because the premium's a lot less. But if you already have it, then I wouldn't get rid of it. I would just keep it and know exactly what purity it is. I hope that answers your question. Hello, Gloria. How are you? Okay, it's time. Let's go ahead and bring it down. And I'm going to go ahead and do our first one. Wow, look at that. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do our first one. How many do we have? Well, we have 467. Not that many of you. Well, we're going to do our first draw right now. And here we go. Let's see who it is. Drum roll, please. Tracy McMuffins, or Muckenfuss. Sorry. Tracy Muckenfuss. Congratulations. Congratulations. Make sure that you send me your information to the email down below, okay? One winner, chicken dinner 2@gmail.com. Let me go ahead and save this real quick. That way I don't lose it. Let's see, okay? 1T. Our number 1. All right. Congratulations, Tracy, by the way. All right, there we go. Let's do another one. Let's see where we're at. All right, we're at 469, so they're still coming in a little bit. Let's go ahead and do our next one. Draw again. This is our second one out of 4. Good luck. Julia Ratliff. Congratulations, Julia. Congratulations to you. I hope you like tea. And if for some reason somebody went that doesn't like tea, just give it to someone that does as a gift. So we're going to go 2. Let's save it. All right. We got our second one. Congratulations, Julia. Let's do our third one. We're up to 473 now. Let's see who's going to win the third tea advent calendar. I didn't even know what an advent calendar was till like a couple of years ago. Look at this. Sean Penrod walks away with the tea. All right. Congratulations, Sean. Sean, you've been doing pretty good winning. Didn't you win once during October's Nutrient Survival giveaway? I think you won one of those big buckets. Good for you, man. Congratulations. Let's go with 3. This is our third one. Oh, we got one more. We've got one more. Our last one. 476. Okay, this is it. Last one. All right, who's it going to be? Oh, Tracy, no 2-for-1s. Look at that. Tracy, you already won. How is it that you want another one, Tracy? Come on. Come on now. Let me just double verify that Tracy did get that for. Yeah, you did. Oh, that's awesome. Well, let's do it again. That'll be funny if your name comes up one more time, Tracy. Let's see. Drum roll. Great Lakes Cannery. Congratulations, Great Lakes Cannery. I hope you like tea. All right, congratulations to all of the winners. That's awesome. And thank Mrs. Alaska Prepper, because she's the one that got these. This is not normally one of the ones that I would do for a giveaway, but she loves the tea. Okay, let's see. No, that's not it. This one. Yes. 4. Okay, I've got all the winners now. Remember to send your information, ladies and gentlemen, to the email address that is down below, and I'll try to get those out at the latest by Wednesday of this week. I have a very busy first half of the week this week, by the way. So we'll see. All right. Well, you know what? I think we're at about that time. I do have to go out and do some chores today. All right. So hopefully you all had a good time. I had a great time like always. And ladies and gentlemen, have a great weekend. Thank you very much for all of your support as well. All right. What was I going to say? Oh, that's right. And remember, I'm going to have that video coming out probably tomorrow. I'll probably do that video for tomorrow because I'll be doing it for dinner tonight. So having said that, have a great week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining, and I truly do appreciate every one of you. Thank you very much to all of our moderators. If you are new, if this is your first live stream, if you subscribed like within the last couple of weeks, go ahead and put "I am new" in all caps. And during our outro, we'll shout you out by putting your name up on the screen so everybody can see it. All right. Other than that, have a great week ahead. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to every one of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper, and I am out. God bless. Have a great week, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe and prep on.